We are on our way to go check out a foreclosure auction. I'm Matt from Two Guys Take on Real Estate, and we buy hundreds of properties at foreclosure auctions, and we find it's one of the best ways to get a killer deal on a foreclosure auction. And today we're lucky because we actually get to go a little inside of a foreclosure auction before it happens. Typically, you never get access before it, but they're actually having an inspection period, which is kind of exciting, so we're gonna go look at it. But that does mean all the competition also has access. So we need to, kind of hope that not too many people show up on a Saturday. And then we're gonna, go check it out. So make sure you have a paper and pen, take some notes, because we're gonna give some tidbits on looking at foreclosure auction, one of the best ways to buy a cheap property. All right, so we just arrived at the property for auction. Now, once again, this is one of the best ways to buy properties for the cheap, but does come a lot of risks. And one of those first things you're going to need to do is make sure you sign a hold harmless, because they don't want to be held liable when you're getting access to view the property before the auction, just in case there's like no floor or whatever it might be. So first thing is check in with the auctioneer, and you might have to make sure you have your license, and they will register you on, and you sign like usually a little hold harmless. So let's go check that out. So this one is actually a commercial property. We do know this one's been on the market before, so this isn't your typical house. This is like an old school building, and the question is really what it looks like. Someone did a lot of work and they got in over their head. So what we need to do is obviously evaluate our exit plan, whether it's a single family or multifamily or a commercial property. What is the exit plan? Are we looking to rent this out to someone? Do we have a tenant in place? With something like this, I would definitely want to have a tenant in mind, or ideally an LOI from that tenant right off the bat, because this is a very odd building. I don't want to have the holding costs. Even if we get it for really, really cheap, there's still going to be holding costs, taxes, insurance, and you get some brickwork. There's definitely some work that needs to get done. You got a fire exit. You're going to also want to check with the building department on zoning. I apologize for all the noise. Because you want to make sure for what use you're having, you're anticipating, it is going to meet the requirements for the health department, zoning department, whatever you need to have ADA compliance. What do you need to do? What do you have a parking lot that fits the amount of parking spaces you're going to need? So these are things you're going to want to really delve into before the auction. So this is part of your due diligence. It's really important to take that time. I hope you're writing this down because this is good stuff. So let's go look into. A lot of brickwork needs to be repointed here. So that's something, kind of put together a scope of work right now. So you don't have to have lead compliance on these commercial buildings, but you got a lot of lead paint here. I want to get that coil up anyway. All right, so property's in great condition. Just kind of walking on the inside, getting a feel for anything. What are the big items that need to be addressed? Lighting looks good. Windows mostly have been done here. Floors need to be scuffed and buffed. Now you might need to consider, especially these, is ADA compliant bathrooms, depending on what you're looking to do. So you want to look at making sure you have the proper width. And you can get all that kind of data online. And if you don't have a background in construction, it's really important for you to bring, so look at that, this is definitely not ADA compliant bathroom. This is tiny. You're not fit in a wheelchair through that. I can barely fit myself through. Woo. But you want to bring someone who has this experience, because something like this, while it can be great, now this is much bigger. So this is an ADA compliant bathroom. That's good. It does have grab bars. It does meet the 42 inches here. So that's really good. So that, you already have one. So on the first floor, of course, just perfect. But yeah, bring a contractor that has experience in commercial property and renovations, so you know what you're needing to do for this kind of stuff. I wonder what the use of this place was for. This is an odd, having this tub in here. I don't really know what this was before. All right, all the old steam radiators. You'll know if it's a steam radiator because you have one in and no out. That means the steam comes up, and generally have a very vent right here, this vent right here to release the pressure to pull up the steam and heat these suckers up. I don't know, I used to grow up with the ones. I love those steam heaters. Ooh, much keys. Alright. What is this? I don't know what was here before. I remember this was actually a massage school for a long time. Hasn't been that way for a long time, but that's what it was here before. And I still didn't see the boiler room. There's gotta be a way to the basement. I must have missed it. Yeah. So one of the biggest things, and now the big project, I guess, and the fact that it's commercial, and you can have all these zoning changes and regulation changes, and depending on the use that you're using, you know, costs can go awry really quickly. So while foreclosure auctions can be a great way to buy property cheap, because there's so many other change of use and all this stuff, can also, the rehab can be quite larger, or if they've been, you know, neglected for many years and need to be brought up to code for a lot of different reasons, that can be a massive expense. So it's really important, like I said before, is that you bring a contractor or have the experience yourself to make sure you're properly estimating your costs. Because honestly, that's where I see more and more people actually get in trouble and lose the property or get in way over their head. Here we go. All right, here's the hardest stuff. All right, so what we got here? Mixing. This is typically a no-no in Massachusetts. Not supposed to mix. Oh, sorry, it's cast iron. I'm womp womp. So cast iron, it's okay. You just can't mix ABS with cast iron. Oof, another tiny little bathroom. Like, geez. Wow. Old school toilet. So here's the electric service that was here before. It has been moved to the outside. We had an extra panel. Yeah. This is mold bite substance. Let's see. Yep. Yeah. So we got expansion tanks. Wow, this is an old school book. That's gonna be expensive. That sucker goes. Ooh. We got a big ass conversion burner. Oh, so you got oil valve. Oh, that's good. That's a lot of oil. Look at all those tanks all feeding each other. What's over here? Little hand sink. Oh, those little bathroom stalls. Hey, little urinals. Once again, this was a school at one point. All right, here is the main power coming into the building. That was upgraded, which is really good. Saves you a bunch there. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, I mean, nothing super scary. I mean, I'm glad the foundation looks really good. It is an older foundation, it's an older building, but all in all, pretty good shape. All right, so that is that auction. That's coming up next week. So now I'm gonna go on Monday, talk to the building department, talk to zoning. I'm also gonna talk to my commercial agent and get some ideas on the use of the property, if he has any actual possible tenants for the property, so that we can kind of fill it up right away, because I wouldn't want to sit on holding costs. But this is a really up and coming town. It's a really, we own our car wash, so I definitely wouldn't mind owning more property here, but it has to be the right property. While now foreclosure auctions are one of the best ways to buy cheap property, it still has to be the right property. Whether you're buying it for yourself to live in, which is obviously not on this, or you're buying more rental property, you want to make sure it's the right property for you and that it fits your goals and the criteria, as well as your skill set. So make sure you have take the time to make sure you know what you're looking for, so that you fit the right things. Hope this was educational. I hope you guys wrote all that stuff down, and we'll hope if you have any questions, leave comments below, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.